Cole and Jaclyn with you. Jaclyn will be taking over our developing stories with you, Canada, through the day. And we're following the extreme cold settling in, Jaclyn. We're tracking multiple storms and what nearly 80 centimeters of snow looks like.
I know. It's pretty impressive. And Nicole, you were off a few days sick. You feeling better?
I'm feeling a little bit better. Thank you for asking.
Good.
It's the, winter, it's so tough to get rid of these colds, and with cold temperatures,
doesn't help.
It's not fun to even be sick. I was bored.
You're bored?
There's nothing to do when you're sick. No one's around. Everyone's working.
Yeah.
You just but watch Netflix.
There you go. That's right. Good. Well, some R&R nonetheless. This afternoon, if you're watching Netflix indoors, -4 outside in Regina, feeling like -9, +5 in Calgary. Only gets better every day of the week.
Exactly. Into the weekend, Calgary going to be pushing double digits. The area, that person couldn't even get outside their door. Some strong winds as well this week. Good news is it has wound down.
Yeah, that is good news. And here's some of those totals. 78 for Wabash, like you mentioned. Goose Bay, 44. So pretty hefty snow amounts. And I think it's Nain, 26. With gusts, though, of almost 100 km.
Right.
Speaking of that, we'll have two systems for tracking. The first one won't be the wind one. The second one is going to be a very windy one. Let's talk about this one.
Right. So that one comes through for tomorrow. And then into the weekend, we've got another one setting up. This one probably more impactful than what you're seeing tomorrow.
Yeah.
But speaking of snow in the east, Halifax, not on target at all. This is what you've seen so far and what you usually get. This is what you're off your average, but mostly it's been rain in Nova Scotia.
Oh, so many storms have tracked that way where they've lifted to the north and we're in that warmer sector. In fact, both storms look like both the one on Thursday into Friday, I think it is, and then Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
Both look like they're going to be transitioning to rain and then back to snow again.
So messy for you in Atlantic Canada. Messy today in Ontario, but not as bad as what you're going to see in Atlantic Canada. Winds are already about 5 centimeters from tweets from Tony today.
Oh, good. Thanks, Tony.
And we've got some lake enhancement setting up from Toronto down towards Hamilton, Jaclyn.
Yeah.
So about a trace to 3 centimeters there.
That's right. With that east-northeast wind still open, the lake's still freezing up, but still open.
Exactly.
There we look at the snow through the north. So we have a lot of clippers that are going to stay to the north, 5 to 10 centimeters for Key Lake, Saskatchewan, and up.
Yeah. Sunny, but cold, -22 this morning. And for the afternoon, you're going to be below average at -11. But as we head into the weekend, a little bump up in temperatures, but then back to -11 on Sunday, Jaclyn.
Yeah, and temperatures feeling like -18s. That's right. You can get more at theweathernetwork.com. That's Chris St. Clair. I'm Jaclyn Whittal. Let's get you into your wind chills this morning. Not quite as cold as where we could be this time of year. And in fact, people like Calgary are getting ready for nearly spring temperatures for much of the week. 5 degrees this afternoon for you in Calgary. 7 for Vancouver, 3 for Edmonton, -4 for Regina, feeling like -9, but that's about the most severe wind chill, like Winnipeg and Regina, -9s, -14, so not too bad. All right, let's look at our infrared satellite image here. This is where we track our storms. You can see them in development, or you can see them maturing or dissipating. So we see this one off to sea now. That's the Labrador storm. That's gone. That's good news. A little bit of an Alberta clipper moving through southern Ontario, and then this is a big piece of energy developing down in the southern states that will ultimately track up the eastern seaboard and become a nor'easter for Atlantic Canada. That happened Saturday into Sunday with this one. All right, watching the storm on the west coast. Still quite a bit of moisture. So a lot of hockey skaters this time of year. How do you keep your ears warm under the helmet? And good luck digging out. How did we do as far as snowfall right across the country for this winter season, and actually even before winter? So we're going from November 1st to January 19th, so still in the fall. Kenora saw 92 centimeters of snow. That's 13 centimeters beyond their average. Calgary, they picked up 51 centimeters of snow. That's not including the September snowfall, remember that? Plus 19, so that's 19 centimeters more than they normally would get. Look at the east, though. St. John's, Halifax, Toronto, all coming in below average for where they should be in terms of snowfall. This weekend could change that. We're tracking 2 storms, Thursday into Friday, Saturday into Sunday. We'll talk about both of them as we get you through this next round of storms. Here's the current jet pattern. See a big dip in the jet over here. We're seeing a piece of energy that's going to ride along that jet stream, track to the east coast, and then up the eastern seaboard. This energy right here will be storm number 1. So building energy. Do you see how we're always looking ahead to see what pieces of energy may come together to form a storm, be it rain, snow, wind, whatever it is. That along with model data as well. 5 to 10 centimeters for Key Lake, Saskatchewan, less than 5 for Thompson. Churchill, you can see 5 to 10, but all the snow will stay to the north. And you can see the position of the jet there. This ridge is bringing in some very mild temperatures. Welcome back, it says Pacific air. Look at some of that Pacific air coming right into the upper Midwest of the United States, right through the better part of the prairies. Monday looks incredible. So more like a spring forecast rather than winter. All right, Regina, here's your forecast for the next few days. Around 0, 1, +2 Saturday, some mixed precip, another clipper developing. Vancouver rain and seasonal. Calgary looking great, 10s, 9s. All right, has been lifted. Never like to see that, you know. Always nice to give a helping hand, and it's always great to see all the warming centers open up for the homeless this time of year. Temperatures, well, they're going to be cold, but not as cold as we could be. Notice the purple staying to the nickel belt and to the north. Down through Toronto, overnight we'll be into that -15 range, possibly again. But the big story really is the easterly winds over Lake Ontario, bringing in a trace of snow and 3 to 5 centimeters with a clipper that's diving south of Ontario. Next, we'll dig into the East Coast storms. Nice to have you along. What a beautiful shot there with that sunset. I'm Jaclyn Whittal. A couple exciting things going on the show today. Not only just the developing stories, but I'm also starting Share Your Weather. This is a fun segment that's going to happen at 13 minutes past the hour with me, where you send me a tweet, J Whittal TWN, a picture of something that maybe in your backyard or some weather, or maybe your dog or whatever. Share something with me that's weather related, and then give me the name of where you live, and I'll give you a personalized forecast in your backyard every day, 13 minutes past the hour. Developing stories, extreme cold settling in, tracking multiple storms, 2, maybe even 3, and then what nearly 80 centimeters of snow actually looks like. We'll show you Labrador City. All right, -12 in Montreal this afternoon. Wind chills -14 in Winnipeg, -9 in Regina. Not too bad, +5. People are going to be shoveling for a while. Here's some of the totals. Wabash at 78 centimeters. Goose Bay 44, Nain at 26, plus the wind gusts almost 100K. You can just imagine what it was like. So on that note with wind, our next system that we're tracking is beginning to form today on the eastern seaboard of the states, moves up by Thursday tomorrow morning, and then we're going to see some mixed precipitation and snow move through likely by Friday a.m. for St. John's and Cape Race, all those areas. Not going to be a big wind story, but we're going to see some wintry weather. Where the wind starts to pick up is with our next storm, and that one right now is in development in the Four Corners states. It's going to track along the jet stream. This is our storm track. Cold Arctic air, lots of Gulf moisture. Bam, you get a powerful storm. That's going to move up the eastern seaboard and bring a lot of wind, snowfall, mixing out with some mixed precipitation, and even people changing right over to rain. So all of the above. It's going to be a wild weekend. I'm going to be here this weekend as well, tracking the storm. So make sure you stay with us for the week. Kenora, 92 centimeters fell this season so far. So from November 1st to January 19th. And that's actually 13 centimeters more than what you would normally get. Calgary, you got about 19 centimeters of snow more than you normally would see this time of year. But that doesn't include the September snowfall. We all remember that and how much we loved that one. That's sarcasm, folks. Halifax, you saw less snow than when you normally would, about 52 centimeters less. That weekend could change this for a lot of folks on the Atlantic seaboard. 3 to 5 centimeters for Windsor. This is a storm that's tracking down toward the south. And let's show you this. These build up along the shores. So yeah, a clipper that's going to affect areas like Chicago. We'll come back. We'll talk about some of our Great Lakes ice coverage so far this year. Just, putting greens and sunshine. Life's pretty rough on the West Coast. I know, we're all just envious. 7 degrees in Vancouver this afternoon, cloudy conditions, but still golfing weather. 1 degree in Kamloops, 1 degree in Penticton, and 1 in Kelowna. But get ready for a big warm-up after we get through these warnings. We're going to see a flood of Pacific air really do its thing and warm up everybody right through the upper Midwest United States and into much of the prairies for the week. All right, so let's take a look here at the snowfall warnings we have in place. Stewart, Prince Rupert, you have a wind warning. So this is a low that is moving onshore, and you can take a look at this is our wind map. The orange indicating winds sustained at 20 to 40, the red 40 to 60. So Tofino, Port Hardy, those areas could be seeing some strong winds. But that's it. That storm kind of dances up to the northwest, not as bundled up as they could be. That's because yesterday they were, into the plus single digits. Today again, 5 degrees, partly cloudy, 3 for you in Lethbridge and 0 in Drumheller. Saskatchewan, much of the same. You're going to be, by tomorrow, a little warmer than you will be today. I think you're still slightly below 0 today, but tomorrow you'll be a little better. Winnipeg, but as you get into your day, we'll talk about how warm you get as well, because you're going to be getting a bump in temperatures. But there you go, -4s for Saskatoon and Regina. Key Lake, Saskatchewan, 5 to 10 centimeters. Winnipeg, you're going to be dry today. Southern Ontario, we're tracking a Alberta clipper that'll just skirt down toward the south. It's not a big snowmaker, but for Windsor, who doesn't usually, it's not usually like the center of our storm track necessarily. Everywhere else isn't getting snow, but Windsor you are, 3 to 5 centimeters, just like yesterday, a dusting. Northeast winds over Lake Ontario, that could give us some lake enhanced snowfall, so lake effect. It'll be light, just a dusting, but you might see some scattered flurries in and around the GTA. More likely the Niagara region. There's the clipper, and it's right at the bottom of my screen because that's a storm track. It's actually more of a stateside story than it is a Canadian story. This evening, temperatures, -16s, -17s through Timmins, Geraldton, Val-d'Or, and Sudbury, but we're getting into some warmer air for sure. All right, let's go to some icy conditions here. Lori, for sending that in, we appreciate that. Wednesday through Friday, we have a storm that we're tracking. This is going to be mostly a Newfoundland story, but we'll be bringing some snow into Nova Scotia as well, probably up to maybe PEI, maybe Charlottetown PEI. And then Newfoundland, you could get maybe 10 centimeters of snow from Gander right through to St. John's. Wind will not be the story with this storm, but the next one we're tracking for the weekend, it could be a nasty one. We'll let you know. Let's get you in front of the weather and track all of our storms right across the country. I love doing this in this segment. So there we start off with our satellite radar. We have moisture on the west coast, some higher elevation snowfall, couple flurries through the prairies, little bit of activity down through Windsor, through 3 to 5 centimeters, and some sea effect on the east coast. Let's begin in the east coast right now and talk to that sea effect snow. Trough moving through. That means a little bit of extra uplift to enhance some of that sea effect snow before high pressure builds in, takes our winds, calms everything down, and there's our next storm. That's our next big game in town. This is going to start off as snow for parts of Nova Scotia and then move through to Newfoundland. We could see that transition over to a mixed precipitation. Same with the next storm. All right, so that's storm number 1. Watching this storm in Ontario, about 3 to 5 centimeters, northeast flow over the top of the system. Now, what I want to show you, though, is with those wind vectors, we could be bringing in some lake effect snow off Lake Ontario right into Hamilton, St. Catharines, and Niagara region. Turning our attention to the next bit of energy that I'm watching down through the Four Corners states, that is the weekend storm for, I think, Saturday, Sunday for the East Coast. So that's the building energy. But let's go further west, quiet in the prairies, watching the west coast moisture. So cold front moving through the prairies, clear conditions, pretty calm. The snow will stay up to the north of La Ronge, north of you, Calgary. It'll be pretty calm. Let's go to Calgary. I know, before you change the channel and say, all right, I've had it with winter. We're talking a lot about seasonal affective disorder today on the Weather Network and how you can maybe beat the blues. So stay with us and we'll have lots to talk about where that's concerned. All right, so the final system here. This is the warm front that'll move through, bringing rain underneath of it. The snow levels will be climbing as a big push of mild air moves into the west coast. Not great news for ski resorts. Stick around. We'll have lots more, including your local forecast. All right, hustle bustle here in the newsroom on this Wednesday, and that's because we're tracking 2 big storms for Thursday, Friday for Atlantic Canada, and then into the weekend. I'll be joining you this weekend as well to track the storm. It's going to be fun. You're going to be in for some wind, some snow, possibly some rain. Maybe not fun, I guess. Fun to forecast, maybe not fun to dig out of. All right, extreme cold settling in, tracking those 2 storms I mentioned and what nearly 80 centimeters looks like. And let's go there now. It's in a just that. It sums up what that actually would look like. 78 centimeters of snow at your front door. That happened in Wabash. Nain picked up 26 centimeters, Goose Bay at 44, and wind gusts that were almost at 100 k's. So you can imagine just how nasty that would have been. Wednesday, Thursday, into Friday, St. John's, Newfoundland. You are looking at probably getting hit the hardest with this first storm. It's going to be snow for you. We'll see some snow up to about Charlottetown, PEI, but much of Nova Scotia will get hit with some snow Thursday morning, and then it'll track to the north. The next storm, all right, this one gets interesting. Cold Arctic air, plenty to work with, and lots of Gulf moisture. This jet pattern here is going to take a low that's actually forming right now in the Four Corners states. That moisture is going to track along that jet stream, move up the eastern seaboard, possibly really becoming a nor'easter for the states as well. And this one will encompass a lot of strong winds, a lot of heavy snow, and rain. A lot of places will be switching right over to rain. All right, let's go to Hamilton. Yeah, and don't throw your Leafs jersey on the ice. We know what happened when that, okay, I won't even go there. So Windsor, 3 to 5 centimeters. We see a storm tracking to the south. It's an Alberta Clipper. It's pretty light, but Windsor not normally the ones that are getting the snow. Up in Muskoka, it'll be quiet. In fact, good morning to both my parents who are in Bracebridge, Ontario today. You may have to tell someone to do some shoveling back home in Windsor where they live in Amherstburg, Ontario. All right, 5 to 10 centimeters for Key Lake, Saskatchewan, up through the north. That's where our storm track is going to be. So we have a ridge, and then you saw that dip in the jet stream, which will usher those storms up the eastern seaboard. Until then, warming temperatures. Lethbridge at +3 today, -1 for you in Swift Current. Good morning to you in Regina at -4. Get ready for it, though. Double digits for Calgary and for many more this coming weekend. Yes, good morning. It's Share Your Weather time. This is a fun segment where I send out a tweet daily. And if you follow me on Twitter, then you can get in on this game. So basically, you can send me a photo. I might ask a question. I might ask, what are your plans for the day, or, what's your snow look like today, or whatever it is. Then you send me a photo, tell me where you live, and then I give you a personalized forecast right in your own backyard. So I got a couple responses all the way from New York State. Merrimack, I think is how you say it. But that's Scott Schleff. He can't obviously watch us in the U.S., but I wanted to show this beautiful picture of the sunrise. And then a cute doggy picture always wins my heart. She's such a cold weather diva, Mela says. This is one of my Twitter followers. Yeah, she says she goes out in the snow, no problem at all. She lives in Drumbo. My dog's a big wimp when it comes to the snow. -4 is your forecast, partly cloudy for Drumbo. Are you doing a little skating? Maybe you should bundle up. Think about how much confusion that could cause if all your stop signs were covered in snow, let alone your stoplights out because of the wind. We had wind gusts at about 94 km through much of Labrador yesterday. So all eyes now on the next storm that's going to be moving through the Atlantic parts of Canada, including St. John's, Halifax, much of Nova Scotia going to be hit with snow, maybe about 10 centimeters. Dr. Doug just told me off air. So the snow totals actually have increased a little bit for that area. Speaking of snow, yesterday Doug and I talked about the snow drought. Well, let's look right across the country and see actually how those numbers look. So Kenora, Ontario, you picked up 92 centimeters of snow from November 1st through to January 19th. That's 13 centimeters more than normal. Montreal, you had 9 centimeters more than normal. But look at the snow drought in the eastern parts of the country. Yeah, you've seen less than 52 centimeters from your normal in Halifax. Could that change this weekend? I'm betting so. All right, let's take a look at our current jet stream. We have a area of low pressure that's just going to skirt through southern Ontario, including Windsor. We'll get a dusting of snow down through the south. Looking at a developing piece of energy, an area of low pressure that's going to ride along that jet. That becomes the Saturday-Sunday storm, which is definitely the more powerful of the two. We have another storm Thursday, Friday, but both will have impact, obviously. 5 to 10 centimeters for Key Lake, Saskatchewan. Most of the snow will stay to the north. Of course, we talk about the temperatures this time of year. We talk a lot about, the lack of sunlight and the seasonal affective disorder. This is a very real type of condition that people deal with. Some have certain lamps that they use to help them out. We had a chance to speak to a doctor in Hamilton about it here, to be digging out after this big event. So what about snow right across the country for the entire season? How did we fare out? Dr. Doug and I talked about the snow drought yesterday. Well, Toronto actually has seen 4 centimeters less than their norm already this time of year. Halifax, you've seen 52 centimeters less than what you normally would get. And St. John's, 18 centimeters less than what you would normally get. I have a feeling this weekend is going to change that for many, because we're watching 2 areas of low pressure. This one here is going to be moving up through the north. It's going to affect Nova Scotia by tomorrow, and then Newfoundland by Thursday into Friday. We are looking at probably about 10 centimeters now for Nova Scotia, where initially it looked like the track was slightly offshore and it would be more of a Newfoundland story. About 10 centimeters there, not out of the question either. Where we're seeing 5 to 10 centimeters out west is in the extreme north. That's because we have our jet stream position that's taking all the storms and bringing them all the way up north and really keeping everyone dry and warm. Underneath that ridge, you're getting an umbrella of very mild temperatures. So it says, welcome back, Pacific air. But usually we see the Pacific air nudge into as far as the mountain ranges, but we're going to see this Pacific air go all the way into the central parts of the prairies, even the upper Midwest United States. It's going to be a nice day by the time we get into Monday. All right, so for now, we're tracking a small Alberta Clipper moving through Windsor, maybe 3 centimeters or so. And the cold, yes, it's there. But you know what the biggest thing I notice this time of year is the lack of sunlight. We see our sun setting much earlier this time of year, and it kind of cuts your day in half. Is it true that Blue Monday really exists? What about seasonal affective disorder? Here's more.